Joji, aka George Kusunoki Miller, is probably, in my honest opinion, the best YouTuber I've ever come across. From his days on Disaster Music, to his Filthy Frank videos, to his fledgling music career, the man has proven to be one of the most resilient and brilliant people on this godforsaken platform. Yes, we're talking about the man who made the Harlem Shake a thing. If he can do that, he can do just about anything. His journey as a content creator is one that I think most people on this platform should study. It's impossible to recreate, but it's a good blueprint on how to reinvent yourself, stay relevant, and make content that actually matters. Welcome to the Evolution of Joji. The first time I encountered Joji and his content was back in 2013. Around that time, his character Filthy Frank was blowing up. It was back in the day when he uploaded to Disaster Music, one of his many accounts on YouTube. Just to give you guys some context, this was in the olden days of YouTube, like before the platform had usurped television, before CEO Susan. We're talking about the wild, wild west. I recall recently that there was a brigade of K-pop stans trying to cancel Joji for his actions during this time period. Yeah, that's not gonna fly. On his second channel, TV Filthy Frank, he says that Filthy Frank is the embodiment of everything a person should not be. He is anti-PC, anti-social, and anti-couth. He behaves and reacts excessively to everything, expressly to highlight the ridiculousness of racism, misogyny, legalism, injustice, ignorance, and other social blights. He also sets an example to show how easy it is in the social media for any zany material to gain traction, followings by simply sharing unsavory opinions and joking about topics many find offensive. Long story short, he's a satirical character, guys. And before people will go, hey, but you made a Shane Dawson video! Shane uploaded those under his own name, essentially co-signing the content even if it was meant to be satirical. Joji literally went out of his way to create a separate entity before pressing the upload button. That's two completely different things, guys. The Disaster Music channel would eventually be discontinued in 2014 out of fear of being taken down for community and copyright strikes. For roughly 5 years, Joji operated under the Filthy Frank alias, building a surprisingly rich and thrilling mythos behind the character. Attempting to even summarize Francis of the Filth and his legacy would take about 5 videos. Just talking about Frank himself would take 1 video. We're talking about weeaboosism, throat cancer, space herpes. It's a long story. One character from the series, Pink Guy, would basically help pave the path towards the music career he has today. Pink Guy in the Filthy Frank universe is a lycra creature that speaks in gibberish but has insane musical talent. In our universe, he was a conduit for Joji to showcase his musical versatility. While Pink Guy's music is clearly satirical and comedic, it's actually better than a lot of the music that people on this platform push. As Pink Guy, Joji would release 3 different records, a mixtape named Pink Guy, a debut album named Pink Season, which actually charted on the Billboard 200, and an EP of remixes, Pink Guy The Prophecy. I mean, he even performed as Pink Guy at South by Southwest in 2017, which is a feat most artists don't actually get to do. But all good things must come to an end. In December of 2017, Joji ceased producing any Pink Guy content and retired the persona indefinitely. In a goodbye letter to fans, he would actually cite health reasons for the main cause of leaving behind the character and the YouTube channel. Moving forward, Joji would solely operate as himself. Joji is not a persona, it is himself, it is not a character. Weirdly enough, most people don't even realize that he actually started work on Joji music as far back as 2014. He'd actually go on to release some tracks under the name Pinkomega in 2015. These 2 songs, Dumplings and We Fall Again, an early demo of it titled We Fall Again 2.5, I don't know how to pronounce that, would eventually make their way onto the Pink Season album. For a short period, he'd actually upload tracks to SoundCloud and people would end up tracing them back to him, which was really always funny. Sometime in the earlier half of 2017, Joji would sign on to 88 Rising, a pretty dope Asian music label. It was through this label that he would release 3 tracks in 2017 before dropping his first real commercial project, In Tongues, backed by the first single, Will He. In Tongues would be re-released with even more tracks and a couple of remixes the following year. This album would peak at 58 on the Billboard 200 charts and 28 on the top R&B and hip-hop albums charts. Critically, Pitchfork actually gave this album a 5.2, saying that while vocally Joji was a great artist and he had established a good mood, lyrically the album didn't dive deep enough beyond typical sad boy heartbreak, regret, drugs, and other motifs like that. Personally speaking myself, I would rate it a little bit higher at a 7.5. I thought atmospherically the album succeeded at establishing him as a soul entity. My personal favorite tracks were World Star, Money, and Demons. I will admit that this record definitely wasn't commercial by any means possible. It was very experimental. You could tell that he was having fun trying to find himself as an artist, and I feel like that's part of the joy of the record. But then again, music's completely subjective, so whatever. Sometime later, he would drop Yeah Right. This song definitely marked the beginning of a more commercial, poppy Joji. It would peak at 21 on the R&B and hip-hop charts. In October of 2018, Ballads 1, his debut album, debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200 and number 1 on the R&B hip-hop albums charts. The song that most people recognize from this album is Slow Dancing in the Dark, which went viral on TikTok, even hitting 69 on the Hot 100. Pretty nice if you ask me. Fun fact for all you pop nerds out there, this track was co-produced by Patrick Wimberly, who used to produce for Chairlift, a joint effort with Carolyn Polachek. Wimberly's credits also include Ellie Goulding's latest album, Brutus Blue. Ballads 1 was really well received in my honest opinion. It earned a 6.7 from Pitchfork, 3 stars from Rolling Stone, and a lot of praise from a bunch of smaller blogs. My personal picks from this record are Test Drive, No Fun, and I'll See You in 40. I personally thought that this album was a good showcase of Joji's ability and range to jump from soundscape to soundscape. He would spend some time touring the album in 2019, even dropping a few collabs here and there with his label mates over at 88 Rising. My favorite drop from those collabs being Walking featuring Jackson Wang, Sway Lee, and Major Lazer. Joji's extremely prolific. He dropped the first single off his unnamed album in June 2019, Sanctuary. I adore this track. The music video showcases Joji's acting ability and his team's creativity. Also, it showed that he really had a budget this time around. He would go on to drop the second single off the then unnamed album Run in February of 2020. He would go on to perform that song on Jimmy Fallon's Tonight Show, which honestly is a crowning achievement in my book. Going from the obscurity of being a YouTube uploader to straight up performing on the Tonight Show is what any kid uploading their music on here wishes for. I recall seeing the performance myself on YouTube and going, wow, he's really come that far. In April, Joji would reveal 2 things, his latest single, Give Me Love, and the proper name of his second album, Nectar. And now, in July, it actually became a trending topic and a hit on the platform. I personally think that it will become a hit on the Hot 100 charts in the coming weeks, hopefully it will. Nectar was supposed to be released on July 10th, but it has been since delayed to September on the account of the worldwide pandemic. And that's the story so far. I can't iterate how impressive and dynamic Joji's career has been, and I sincerely think that this is only the beginning of his career. I can't wait to see where he goes musically and creatively. One thing I do have to say is how cool it was that he started off with all of these personas, all of these smokes and mirrors, and then he showed us his true self and got loved for that. I just find that so inspiring because it's very hard to maintain and keep a fan base. But in all truth, I think it's the quality of his content that has people coming back. I'd say that Joji's the perfect example of how to gracefully leverage this YouTube platform to become the person you want to be. Once again, thank you so much for tuning into this video, guys. I always wanted to do a video on Joji. I just never really took the time to sit down and gather all the facts. I was too busy enjoying his music, guys. If you like this content and want to hear more about other artists that I definitely like, definitely subscribe, comment your favorite Joji track, share this video if you want to share this video, that's up to you guys. I'll be covering Rina Sawayama next and very soon. I want to give a special shout out to all of my members on the channel. If you've been following me for some time and you like my content, consider joining a membership. I'll be unveiling some members only content in the coming weeks. My first members only video will be about XCX World, so tune in for that. Once again, thank you so much guys. I will see you guys soon.